The Albanese government is using its critical minerals deposits as a bargaining chip with the United States amid the escalating global trade war. Isabel Rowe is across it all for us, and she's at Parliament House this morning. G'day, Isabel. What's the government saying about how it's going to try to leverage our critical minerals with the United States?
Well, critical minerals is something that Australia has enormous stores of, some of the biggest in the world, and it is something that Australia knows that Donald Trump has previously expressed great interest in. Now, at the moment, the government is trying to avoid a second round of tariffs on exports. They could come in April and could be on things like Australia's beef sector and pharmaceuticals. Both would be much bigger economic hit to Australia than we have seen with the steel and aluminium tariffs that have been placed on all countries, including Australia, this week. Now, we've already ruled out placing reciprocal tariffs on the US in response to those 25% tariffs placed on steel and aluminium. But in response, the government has been looking at things that it can use as some sort of bargaining chip. And the Resources Minister, Catherine King, has told us this morning that we would very much like a partnership with the US, but she says if they don't want to do that, then that's up to them, and we'll continue to try and find other people who are interested in buying our critical minerals. For example, countries like Europe and across Asia. Now, for the past 2 years, we understand senior ministers have been working on a deal with the US, and it's thought that those discussions will now be used to remind the White House that this is something that Australia has, that they previously have expressed interest in. Now, the other key negotiator here is, of course, the former Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd. He's now the ambassador for Australia to the US. He spoke to 7:30 last night and talked about 50 critical minerals that the US wants, and he says Australia is here to help.
Australia, if you look at those 50, we are currently supplying 28 and can supply 36 of them. You see, Australia equals the periodic table. We also have the biggest and best mining companies in the world. So we stand ready to assist, as we did with the Biden administration. We are uniquely positioned to be able to do this.
Kevin Rudd there. Now, he didn't detail the discussions that he has had with US negotiators on critical minerals in particular. And in fact, the Australian Financial Review is reporting this morning that US negotiators may have already turned that deal down. But nevertheless, we know the government will try to continue using critical minerals as a bargaining chip, and it insists that negotiations are not over.